This is too eerily similar to what I've said in the past.
Thank you, Gil. You were explaining to me, I thought it was quite appropriate to what's going on right now about the kings in Europe and what they used to do during times of trouble. Can you explain that to the American people?
Yes, for a period of time when the astronomers would tell them that, remember, all emperors and many of the kings of the past throughout different cultures had their own astronomers for the royal household. Basically, they were looking for this turn of this very large comet, the planet-sized comet. That's what you've heard the name of Planet X thrown around. You heard the names of Nibiru. There's probably around close to 80 different names that's given to this intruder comet that comes around. And it causes massive problems for the whole Earth. You have the drought. You see massive weather changes, death in birds and sea life. You see volcanoes going up in a exponential growth around the world as far as the amount of, the frequency of them, and the intensity is greater. The same thing is happening with the earthquakes globally. This is all normal for a approaching planet. If any one of these alone would be fine, but it's not. It's all going on at the same time on all of these fronts. That has to be an object that is affecting us. But they used to switch over the king with the temporary king, okay? And the real king would be in the background, letting the temporary king rule the kingdom for a while, and he would get all of the negative stuff on all of the problems of the community, which is dealing with the causes of this planet. Whether there's drought, famine, quakes, you name it, everything, floods. And then once the time period, which is you got 3.5 years coming in and 3.5 years leaving, with the peak happening at the crossing whenever the planet comes around. Well, that's when the king would take back his throne after that, when things are starting to decline. They usually either execute the prior temporary king or whatever. This is almost similar in a way. Here comes a Biden that's going to get a lot of the negative stuff, and he's just a temporary king. And then there's 30 days for the troops to be there in Washington. Keep in mind they're going to slack the numbers down to about 6,500 and hold it there, but they're not taking down the fences or anything. And they're there for 30 days. And that brings us to the 40-day warning time period of February 20th. Remember, we have not had a valid sighting, but around February 10th, according to the orbital path that we are estimating, it should go behind the sun at that time. And in between the 10th and the 20th, the tail should be popping out the other side of it. It would sort of like a medium comet. But as it gets closer, the tail is going to stretch from the east to the west. It's the biggest comet in history. This has passed multiple times in the past, about every 360 years, not 3,600 years, like some people are saying, which is false information. It appears that we have quite a few things lining up. We still need a valid sighting. We won't get that closer to either prior to February 20th. So people should be looking at the sunset. When the sun is setting, towards the end, you start to see a comet tail pointing out to the upper left region of the sun after the sun is setting. And that would be the tail, it's the beginning of it. They should expect martial law to stay till quite a while after this event is over. This is one of the reasons why they're going to go to a digital currency where it's asset backed, because they don't want to go on the ground with fiat currency, because when it come out, it's going to be worthless. But digital currency, which is asset backed, would be similar to owning the title, the mineral of a nation. This is all in the making right now. This is also equivalent to the 20 years of Jacob's Trouble. Jacob's Trouble started in 2001. That was the beginning of the millennium. Jacob's Trouble goes on to 20 years, because you can read the story of Jacob. We have quite a few parameters that are lining up that gives me great concern, and that concern should be also reflected by other people.
Thank you, Gil. And I know that people